Right, I've just had this download and I need to remember it for myself. So I thought I may as well share it with you guys and then I'll remember it. Ready? There is never anything going wrong. Nothing is ever going wrong. Ever. It's always going right. But it's our perception of it being wrong that causes the pain and suffering. And because we believe it's going wrong, we therefore assume and manifest through law of assumption, law of attraction, that the thing that was going on, that was going right, is going wrong. Does that make sense? So, if I get stuck in traffic, right, I don't think, oh my God, my day's going wrong. I think, oh, thank God, this is probably preventing me from like having an accident or doing something, seeing something I don't want to see. It's preventing me from having something bad happen to me. So I don't suffer in the traffic. I'm grateful for the traffic because nothing is ever going wrong. And if my core belief is that nothing is ever going wrong, by law of assumption and law of attraction, I will manifest into my life everything always going right. And then from a consciousness basis, because I assume everything is always going right, I'll never get upset or irritated by the things that happen. Because instead of assuming that they're going wrong and then having a visceral bodily reaction to that trigger, which was the thought that, oh my God, everything's going wrong. Holy fuck. Even Paul's excited. So when you assume that everything's always going right, that is the timeline that you'll create. You'll create a lifetime for yourself where everything is going right. And even if it's literally that you're just viewing things as going right, you'll still be manifesting your own reality of it being like everything's going right in my life. Because instead of allowing negativity to be part of your thought patterns, you just assume that God's got your back and everything's going right. So it's like absolute surrender and absolute faith, which is what they've been pushing me to do for ages. And like sometimes I get this like moment where I'm like, oh no, this is gonna go wrong. So like, okay, so I was thinking earlier about my ayahuasca trip, and I did this, I don't know, I think it was about a year ago. But one of the things when I went in there, I was so anxious because I was like, I'm gonna have a bad trip and I'm gonna spend 12 hours having a bad trip, right? And then I had to talk myself out of these thoughts. Even saying it's making me feel anxious, So in that moment, if I'd just gone like everything's going right, I would have kind of surrendered to the process. I wouldn't have been so anxious about it. And then whatever was, just was, rather than me perceiving it should have been something else. And then being frustrated or upset or anxious that thing might kind of come to fruition. Or alternatively, if I imagined that it was something good, that isn't going to happen. What the fuck? Does even any of this make sense to you guys? I just feel like mind blown at the moment. Like I just had this download and I was like, what? Am I making sense? I've been in the sun for quite a few hours. I had to come in because it was too hot. And he's annoyed because he had to come in too because it was also too hot. Stop it, Paulie! He's okay. So ultimately, we manifest our own universes. Whatever happens in your life, just assume that it's going to be perfect. It's going right for you. And that everything's going just as planned. Because the universe has got your back. God's got your back. Which means that you can just live a life of like faith. And a life of faith is just like a really chilled, happy life. Because it's just like, nah, that can't be going wrong. Everything goes right for me. Yeah, no, it'll be right. Yeah, no, I know it's going to work out perfectly for me. And this absolutely looks like, just like, oh, your house is burning down? Oh, is it? That's fine. It's probably for the betterment of me. Yeah, no, there's probably a reason. I reckon there'll be a reason. I think this is probably a good thing. I think once it happens and down through the line, it'll be a good thing. Please don't manifest that, guys. Okay, I'm doing it as a thingy. Oh, whatever. It'll be fine. Whatever happens, it'll be it'll be fine. This is just like a level of radical acceptance and faith that I've never really perceived before. Where it's just like, okay, yeah, okay. And often, like, when bad things happen to people, they get so resistant about it, and then they get into victim mode, like, well, why me? That shouldn't have happened, it shouldn't have happened. Well, why shouldn't it fucking have happened? Why shouldn't it have happened? And actually, if you give it 10 years, and a lot of healing and the lessons you were supposed to learn as a result of that thing that you internalize as being bad, that thing will probably actually be a good thing. Because after all the healing and everything, you'll be like, wow, that really changed me. That changed my life for the better. Because it always fucking does. But some people don't give it long enough. Some people bow out. They're like, oh, this is bad. I'm not going to do this anymore. Trust me, I was doing it. I was going to. I was like, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm going to kill myself. Which obviously I didn't. Because I'm still here. But, like, you know, now, I wouldn't take back any of that shit that I went through. None of it. And it was all bloody painful. But thank God, because it got to me where I am today. So, if you're going through a hard time, know that things get better. Stop assuming that it's a bad thing. Stop assuming it's a hard time. You know, just stop putting these subjective opinions upon it and things get a little bit easier. And I know that's very philosophical, because it's like, punch me in the face, I'd be like, yeah, that hurt. You know, when you're experiencing pain in real time as a human being, of course it's painful. But if it can give you any hope or anything, then things do get better. And the more that you stop identifying things in your life as bad, and the more that you assume that everything's going right and that God's got your back and that you can just surrender to the plan, yeah, I promise the easier your life will be. So yeah. Anyway, hope that helped. I don't know what the fuck this is, but enjoy it. Bye.